What up, fam? It is Travel Tip Tuesday, and I want to share a couple of things. You guys know that I have been sharing a lot lately about traveling with kids on the autism spectrum. So I have a huge passion for travel. And I know I have a son that is autistic, and I know that traveling with him can sometimes be very overwhelming, very frustrating because he has a hard time sometimes, right? He can be very wild when we're traveling. So we have found a couple of things that really help to get him re-regulated. That's the most important thing, right? So I wanted to share a couple of things that you don't need anything except for maybe one or two small items that you can pack in your bag that you can use these tips and tricks while you're traveling to help your child with autism to really regulate and get his emotions in check and really reorient to where you are. Okay. So one of the big things, and we use this at home as well, but one of the big things with autistic children is they need what is called proprioceptive input. Now, your proprioceptive system basically lives in your muscles and in your joints, right? Elbow joint, knee joint, shoulder joint, all of that. Now, the system, why it's so great is because that proprioceptive system is really what helps regulate your child's sensory input. One big thing with autism is they get on sensory overload, right? My kid, when he goes to an airport, the noise, the bright lights, the people, all the people, it's a new environment. That is sensory overload for him. So what we need to do is have it to where he can reorient himself and get that sensory input under control. He can regulate that better. And one good thing to do is have proprioceptive input. Now, one way that we do that when we're traveling is what we like to, there's a few different things, but one of the things is animal walks. So you can do a few different things, okay? Now, the one thing that I would say to pack, especially if you're at an airport, are these little gloves, right? They look like little doctor gloves, but I just got these. I believe I got these at Hobby Lobby. They're craft gloves. So you can see right here, craft gloves, and they're made for kids. There is 6 gloves or 3 pairs in here, and you can see right here the ages 3+. That's what size it fits. So one thing that you can do is have them put those gloves on and then do these different animal walks that give them proprioceptive input. One of them that my son absolutely loves is walking on his hands. So he will put his hands on the ground, give me his feet, right? Wheelbarrow or whatever you want to call it, walking. But he will give me his feet. I'll hold his feet and he'll walk on his hands across the aisle. Now, we try to go as far as we possibly can because what it's doing is him having all his weight on his hands. It's putting that pressure on his wrist joint, on his elbow joint, and on his shoulder joints. And that is where his proprioceptive system lives. So when it puts that pressure on there, that system activates and it is now working on reorienting him and getting that system overload of sensory overload under control. Okay, so we do that walking on hands. That one's his absolute favorite. Another one is bear crawls, and you can look up how to do all of these. But you can do bear crawls across there. There's also crab walks, right? Those are all pretty simple ones. Now, I would definitely say take those gloves because gross, walking on your hands on an airport floor, right? I totally get that. But that's something that we have now started carrying in our bags are these little gloves so that if he is just wild, he's out of control, his sensory system is on overload, we can put those gloves on and now we can do those different proprioceptive input walks and different exercises so that he can reorient himself. Another one that's really good that you don't have to put your hands on the floor is what we like to call wall pushes. You simply just walk up to the wall, put your hands on here, put your feet back a little bit, and you try to act like you are pushing the wall over. You're putting all your weight into it, right? And you're basically acting like you're trying to push that wall over. That puts that pressure back on the wrist joints, the elbow joints, the shoulder joints, and that really helps with proprioceptive input as well. I hope these helped and it gave you some ideas while you're traveling to help your little one with autism to be able to reorient themselves and really work on that sensory overload. I'll see you guys next week for some more great tips.